Hi, I'm Doug.
And I'm Cathy. And we don't even know where Maggie is anymore.
Join us as we follow the moon. Today, we're going to take you to one of the most famous and most visited national parks out there, which is Arches.
For good reason.
Yeah, in beautiful Moab, Utah.
Yes.
This Utah really changed our whole experience.
Yes, it did.
And we shot this in August of 2024 when it was still in the laws that we couldn't publish videos from national parks at that point. That changed at the end of last year, so we can now bring you this video and show you everything that there is to see at Arches. So come along.
You don't want to miss it.
When we visited Arches, they were doing their timed entry. So if you are planning on going to Arches, be sure and check the nps.gov site and see if you need to make your timed entry reservation. It does kind of help keep the traffic a little bit more steady as you go through the park that way. Our first stop just inside the gates was the visitor center. I love these sculptures out front. You've got the whole bighorn sheep family. You've got a couple little lizards out there, a couple of the ravens that are all over the place. And when you go inside, this visitor center is really, really top notch. Gives you a lot of the history of the park, how the arches were actually formed. They're all very soft sandstone, and it's just been water and wind erosion over the years. As soon as you leave the visitor center, you start heading up the hills. You're going to be going up on top of these beautiful walls of rock. And this was all formed with a fault line. And that fault line has basically created this divide in the rock. Where you see the road down there is basically the fault. That's the main road 191 that goes into Moab.
This place is so amazing.
Yeah, there's beautiful sights everywhere. The first stop that you have inside is Park Avenue. Park Avenue is about a mile-long walk. And we had a lot to get through.
Oh yeah.
So we went to the viewing area there in the beginning. We did not take this trail. But just there, it's the sights to see. That one rock there, we kept making the comment, it reminded us of an Egyptian pharaoh.
Yeah.
And this trail is a little bit more primitive than some of them. So do check to make sure you know where you're going. But it is about a 1 mile one way, and it does actually come out at another parking area.
The viewpoint was beautiful though.
Mm-hmm. Now this viewpoint, the La Salle Mountains viewpoint, the La Salle Mountains are out there in the distance, but you can also see a lot of the features of the park out there in the distance. There's the mountains.
The nice thing about these parks is that you really can see a lot from their viewpoints if you're not up to the long hikes.
Absolutely.
And they're well marked.
And always look behind you. Those last shots were across from the viewing area, across the road from it. And there's stunning sights everywhere. Now this area is called the Courthouse Towers viewpoint. And the Courthouse Towers, we're just going to do a pan around this area. But there's 5 kind of iconic features right here in this one viewpoint. Now that first one where we started that pan is called the organ. You can see the pipes going up it there. The next one is the Tower of Babel. This was one of our favorites, the Sheep Rock. The next one was the 3 Gossips. And the Courthouse Towers. Now, between Sheep Rock and the beginning of Courthouse Towers, it's believed there was an arch there that has collapsed. But there's new arches that are forming all over the place. Now, as we drive through the park, I believe the main road going through the park is 23 miles. So, needless to say, with all of the trails and everything that you're going to see, it takes a while to get through arches.
It sure does.
This is the Petrified Dunes, and these are basically like slip rock areas, but they look like petrified sand dunes. There you can start to see the north and south windows there, and we'll get you up close to those here in a bit. But from here you've got their view off in the distance.
We commented so many times that a lot of the rock structures resembled people.
People, creatures.
Yeah.
And if you're traveling with your RV, you can bring your RV in to the park. Now, off there in the distance is one of the next features of the park that it's really famous for, in addition to the arches. This is a balanced rock. And if you see that little stump kind of there off to its right, there was one there called Chip Off the Old Block that was a smaller balanced rock, and it collapsed years back. So some of its remains are still there, scattered around the ground, but balanced rock stands by itself now.
There's a hike there. It's fairly short, and if you stay on the one side, it's all paved so that it's easy to go back for wheelchair accessible and strollers and stuff.
You can also climb in a little area of slip rock and hike around the other side of the rock to come back too. But yeah, the one side's all paved, very easy. Now we're going to make a right-hand turn and come up around the side of Balanced Rock, and you'll come to the next area, which is called Garden of Eden.
This was one of my favorite areas.
It was full of so many different kinds of rock structures. It really, really was interesting. If you see that little speck of light there in that one rock, that's the beginnings of another arch.
Yep. It's easy to miss those. You really have to keep an eye out.
They said there's over 2,000 arches in the national park, and there's loads more of them that aren't in the national park around the Moab area. We're going to continue just a short ways past Garden of Eden, out this little side road, and you're going to see three of the most iconic arches in the park. There you can see some light poking through the top of that one. And that is the north window. Now there's a north and a south window. From that angle, the north window is all you can see. We're going to take the right-hand fork and go over towards that large rock, and that is Turret Arch.
You do want to go up to the turret first and take the little trail behind. It's a lot easier with all the steps coming down.
Take the circle counterclockwise. It's a much easier trek because we've got a lot of steps down, but they're all coming down.
And drink lots of water.
We were there in late August, and it was real warm. It was up in the middle to upper 90s. There ahead of you is the south window on the right hand side and the north window that we had seen before. And right behind it is where Turret Arch is. So once you go back that path, you've got them both right there. That's how large those are. Across on the other side of that same parking lot loop is the Parade of Elephants and the Double Arch. There you can really see that elephant, the trunk up in the air, the eye. And there's several arches right there in that elephant's head. The Double Arch is amazing. If you've heard about the collapse of the Double Arch, that was not this one. That was at a different park. This one is still standing. It's got a nice path going right back to it.
And it's shorter than the other one.
And it doesn't have all the steps. And you can go completely up inside the arch.
You do have to be careful going up inside. The rock is slick and has a lot of loose rock on it, but it's certainly worth taking that extra measure.
It sure is. Yeah, when you look up and you see that little band of rock going over your head like that, it's quite a sight. On our way back out to the main road from there, you see a sign for Pothole Arch. And a pothole arch is where there's been a little indentation that's held water and eventually it breaks through for drainage. And that's what a pothole arch is.
We saw a few of those.
So a lot of these, that the first time you see them, you think you're seeing the one and only, and then you start to find out it's not that uncommon in this area. Now we're back up onto the main road, and we're going to call it by the right name, Panorama Point.
It's not the paranoia or the
Paranormal? I read the map too quickly as we were going in and didn't know what Paranormal Point was going to be. But it's Panorama Point. Just a beautiful view. There also was a nice little picnic area there.
Yes, we brought our lunch.
Mm-hmm. I will tell you, we spent a couple of days at Arches. The first day, well, both days were really hot, but we wanted to go see some of these places. Delicate Arch is one of the most famous ones there. And this spot, the Delicate Arch Trail, is about a 3.5 mile trail up to Delicate Arch. We only did just the first probably 0.3 of a mile of it. It took you to the remains of this ranch house. I don't know if that was a root cellar or what that was down behind it.
Imagine living there.
Yeah, in the midst of all that.
It only had one door and one window.
From there you cross a really nice bridge, and another trail immediately goes off to the left, and this takes you back to their petroglyph panel. Definitely a hunting scene. And I thought this was kind of neat, that just past the petroglyphs, if it did come up a rain or a storm, which we did encounter while we were there, a nice little place that you could get under cover there.
That's right.
So we went on to the lower and upper Delicate Arch viewpoints. These are much closer. The lower one is just right off the parking lot. And if you've got a good zoom lens, you can get a nice shot of it from there. If you go on up to the upper, you do have a little bit of a climb, and it gets you up to the base of the slip rock. And gets you up much closer, and it's a lot shorter, a lot less time consuming than taking that whole 3.5 mile
That's right.
trail, especially in the 95-degree heat.
Yeah.
Now the next one we stopped at was the Salt Valley Overlook. And you can take a look at it and know exactly why it's called Salt Valley. It's got all the white salt domes.
Sure makes you feel small.
It does. Now the next up was the Fiery Furnace Viewpoint. This one, if you actually want to do the hike down into the Fiery Furnace, it does require a permit. It's not a designated trail, but they do give you a viewpoint where you can look back into it and see all the colors of where it gets its name. keep in mind, it's not all about the viewpoints in these parks. Some of the best views you get are on the road going from one to the next.
Oh, definitely.
Just when you think the scenery doesn't get any more special, you go around a curve and there's something that you had never seen before. Now this one was really neat. The Sand Dune Arch and Broken Arch Trail. Sand Dune Arch is actually inside that area there on the right. And as we were going back here, it started to sprinkle.
Yes, it did. Those are called fins.
Mm-hmm. And they are fairly close together, and you do have to go between a couple of those fins. The kids all liked going down the slide.
Yeah.
And it is like soft beach sand, except it's red. It's just really neat. Here's another rock out in the middle. You go around and you come back in this area, and there's the arch back in here all by itself.
That was so beautiful. And that's where I was when it started really raining good.
Yeah. Now, Broken Arch is right there. It was a mile down the trail. And when the rains hit, we decided not to make the mile down the trail to get closer to it. Got back in the car, went down to the next stop, which was Skyline Arch. And it's still sprinkling a little bit, so we didn't venture too far there, but we got some nice shots of it. And it's big.
Yes, it is.
And kind of towards the end of the park is Devil's Garden, and they've got a beautiful picnic area there.
It was really pretty.
Again, there's arches being developed.
Yep.
There's also a campground back in this area. But when we got to the trail, it cut loose.
It sure did.
We decided to wait the rain out just a little bit, and because there was a couple arches back here I really wanted to see. And as you can see, a good bit of rain came down. It was dodging puddles coming down the path.
When it comes down, it totally floods everything. They have their flash floods all over the place.
And met a couple of people coming towards me that said the main path was pretty much like a river, but I could take the side path. And taking the side path, you get to view two really amazing arches. The first one is Tunnel Arch. And Tunnel Arch is what you see up there, that hole in the side of that rock. There's actually a couple of arches up there in that rock, but the one you're seeing the sky through is Tunnel. And so then, very short trail back up to the main trail, and we're going to make a right-hand turn here and go down to Pine Tree Arch. I thought this was one of the prettiest ones in the entire park.
It is pretty.
It's a beautiful arch, and it's got the junipers down there in the bottom. So we had to ford a little water, but it was definitely worth it for that kind of a view. Kathy, what did you think about our time at Arches National Park?
I'll tell you what, it's hard to say what a favorite is in this area. They talk about the big five, and this one just, each one of them is very different.
Mm-hmm.
And this park was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing, and we got to see petroglyphs there.
Mm-hmm.
It was really neat. It's amazing to look at them and to be watching them, where you see the big ones, but then to see little ones that are forming that you can tell over the next hundreds of years, thousands years, they're going to be just like the big ones. And sadly, some of the big ones are going to be gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really just fascinating.
Yeah, this was kind of like our break into Utah.
Yes.
And as incredible as this park is, you're right, the Mighty Five, it's hard to say a favorite. They're all so incredible.
And so different. Each one of them is so different.
Yeah, very different personalities.
Yeah.
With that, if you've enjoyed the video today, leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, watch for the dot up here at the top corner as the video ends. If you tap that, you can not only subscribe, but you can also ring the notification bell so you'll know when all of our videos come out.
And thank you for following us as we follow the moon.